Hello everybody, this is PhazeonPhoenix and I'm playing a game that is at least new to the channel, but actually I've played quite extensively. This is 20XX and it is a loving spiritual recreation of the Mega Man and Mega Man X games. For those, humor me, for those who do know what Mega Man was and such, Mega Man. What the game anyway, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the history, but the gameplay was that you have this character here, you can jump, you can dash, you can shoot, and you can charge to shoot. And you chose between a list of 8 different bosses, and you would defeat their levels, defeat the bosses, you'd get power-ups based on those bosses' abilities. You would then use those power-ups on other bosses and beat them easier. This game follows that perfectly, and it's a very well made game. The controls are great. The effects are neat and not too hard. This is the intra game level. The one key difference between this game and Mega Man, obviously besides copyrightable characters, is that this game is a roguelite game, and that basically means that the levels are procedurally generated, not really random, procedurally generated, and the game gets increasingly difficult as you play through. So when you first start, anything that you meet will be really easy, and as you progress through and you defeat, there are 8 bosses, except that in Mega Man you could pick them all from a list. Basically, this one gives you a choice of them that you can choose from, because of its random nature. There are other characters here. This is Ace. He is like Zero from the Mega Man X series. This is Nina. It's a female, and I should have said that anyway. It's a woman, and she's got your Mega Man want to look, long range, and a little on the slow side. They're all a little on the slow side. There's also Hawk. This one has a whip and also has all sorts of attacks that she unlocks by herself. There's a difference. There's more to say about her, but I actually do not play him. I'm not actually sure this one. This one's a little ambiguous. And then there's Draco at the end here. He's the newest one. Looks a bit like a monkey if you ask me, but whatever. Anyway, he's got a hammer. She's got a whip, but she actually has more than that. That's all that they really start you with. But I'm actually pretty good with Nina right now. And this is where you play the normal game. This does have multiplayer capability. I just do not have anybody to play with. And this is where you buy stuff. If you look into the bottom left, it's a greenish, yellowish colored square with the number 1 behind it. That is soul chips, and they're the between game currency that you get by playing the game. And if you look at the very bottom on the left there's nuts. They're literally called nuts, and they're the in-game currency that you buy items and stuff when you're in the game. In the middle there, that's a token. There's going to be slot machines in the future, and that's what you use it on. On this side to the right, I don't have any nuts left, so I can't really purchase anything more. This is where items that I've already unlocked that I can purchase with my soul chips. I don't have any left to do so. On this side is the items that I have yet to unlock. Actually, in the previous game before this one, I unlocked one of these, so I only have 2. There's actually usually 3. If you look, actually I've still got it, but it's not really useful. It's just to unlock it. And up on top here, this is where you go through the tutorial, which is actually so simple and not even bother. Leaderboards, and there's daily, weekly, and other game modes and stuff up here. Daily challenges, weekly challenges, and other game modes. And this is where you play the main game. This game is permadeath. You die, the game's over. And unless you're playing this mode, this gives you 3 lives, and you can keep going through it and beating it. I play on this level usually. And then there's the Defiant mode, which will be more difficult, and there's optional skull modifiers, bad things that you can add in there, like taking extra damage from falling or hitting spikes and stuff like that. There's more. I'll do that at some point in the future. But at this juncture, I'm actually grinding soul chips. As you can see, I can't really highlight it, but it's in the top right of this sub window. You get them from defeating bosses and defeating flashing enemies. So we'll just keep going. Basically, the only thing I've got, well, I've only got this blaster, no special items yet. And however, I have unlocked the permanent upgrades that spawn these two items here. I'm going to skip by this. This is a weapon, but I'm going to stick with the typical blaster just to test, just to show you guys. This is one of the armor pieces. Just like in Mega Man X, there was armor that you could upgrade and equip. In this game, there's 4 separate sets. This is the Oxjack set. It's in red. There's 3 other ones, and I got the chest piece, which grants a shield while I'm dashing. It's actually a very useful ability. It will negate incoming projectiles. So there it is. I'm going to, well, you know what, I'll show you. This weapon here is the shotgun one. It isn't very length, the length is shorter. It turns this range character into a short range character. But this weapon has a particular ability where if you hit an enemy with each and every single one of those little projectiles if you hit a single enemy with each and every single one of those projectiles, you do a very large amount of damage. But you sacrifice range for that. This one is a middle of the road. There are weapons that are weaker than this. It's got a decent width. You know, I mean, it's the shape of it's reliable. This is what I'm going to run with anyway. That other one is actually very powerful, but I'm going to choose not to run with that right now. That was a flashing enemy that I defeated, and it gave me 2 soul chips when I got it. This is health. I don't need health, so it's not letting me pick it up. And I don't have any use for it. So those nuts are literally nuts. They're called nuts. That's the in-game currency. And I'll run across shops and vending machines to use them later. So this game, as I said before, is procedurally generated. So every time I play this, it's going to be slightly different. Oh, there's some armor. Armor gets taken away first before your health when you get hit and when you have it. Oh, yeah, let's not get hit. See, I am actually pretty good with this. Played Mega Man so much during my youth, it wasn't funny. Oh dear. So now this is one of those... this is a sidetrack, and in said sidetrack is going to be this area, which is where I get a chest. In this chest is, in this case, an item, and an augmentation, as they're called. And this augmentation is going to make enemies drop more armor, which is definitely useful. You learn to recognize those sidetracks that otherwise the game is linear. Or at least in a single level is linear. In the middle of each level is the possibility for one of these glory zones to spawn, and inside this glory zone is a test. In this case, it wants me to get to the end without getting hit. So give me a second. This is one of the harder ones. Well, this glory zone is one of the harder things you've got to do. There's other ways to win a glory zone that I did not get this time. Here's the end, and this spawns a gold chest, and in the gold chest is another armor piece. In this case, it is different colored than the one I've got for my chest piece, but it's okay. I can still get the armor or the abilities that it gives me. In this case, powers that I use sometimes 50% of the time will not cost any energy. I don't have any powers yet, so at the moment that's useless, but as you can see, her headgear has indeed changed. as has the chest piece, which I really can't show you what that looks like without, you know, not having the chest piece. Yeah, see, this shield actually works quite well. Otherwise, I get hit by these. And I don't want to demonstrate that. Thank you. Alright, so this game, like Mega Man, it's about beating a stage, getting to the end boss, and then defeating the end boss, getting the power-up that he'll give you, which I haven't done yet. Now this game, since there is randomness, not so much you get to choose which ones you want to face, there's a sliding scale, basically, and each of the robots that you face, this is Perforator, each of the robots that you face will get steadily harder as you go. This is the very first one, so he's going to be on his easiest, most pattern. And this particular boss is a bullet hell boss. All you got to really do is avoid the shots and take pot shots. Again, this is the easiest mode that he appears on, so he's actually, oh, really easy. Should not have gotten hit there. Oh, I goofed this. Oh well. There is a bonus timer in the bottom. Oh, I got it with 52 seconds in the bottom left corner there. If you beat the level within that time frame, you get a bonus at the minute, which I'll show you. Okay, so again, I'm going to get my first power very soon here, but the more energy I have left, the more power bonus I'm going to get. And this is the first power that I'm getting. Because of who I beat, this one is just bang, you know, I can only shoot that much, that shoots more. That chest that I just broke was the speed time gain, you know, when I make it within the time, that's what it gives me, is this chest. And sometimes it's nuts and health, other times it's a power-up, an augmentation, that's the right word. And I just got, each one of these areas, there's an amount of soul chips that spawn, and I didn't get a very good amount. So here is the boss selection point that gives you 3 out of the 8. I just defeated 1. And again, they get steadily more difficult as the game progresses. This is the Astral Twins. I usually like to defeat these two as soon as I can. Typically because their attack pattern is rather difficult. They're a bullet hell boss, but there's 2 of them. And as this progresses, as the difficulty progresses, they will require you to defeat both of them within a certain amount of time, or else the dead one will respawn itself. And by this early, it's not going to do that. Oh, this is a scrap recycler, a shop. And in it, there is a number... Oh, I don't have enough nuts for this. This is another piece of armor. In this case, the legs. And it would give me a hover. That, you know, I could hover in midair when I jump twice. This increases my jumping, which is at 0 right now. And this, the charging magnet. As I charge, I'll draw in the various items that are around me. And that's actually a really good one. The only one that's really worth it in this case. Jumping height is not a big deal. You'll get some as you progress naturally. You don't really need to get it specifically. And as you can see, I don't need this health, but it's the magnet that's drawing it near me and gonna make it do all sorts of funny things. There's another glory zone. This one's Flea, and I've got to get away from the bats. The bats will make sense. One of the bosses has a lot of bats. Anyway, one of the bosses is a bat. This one, I just have to get to the end before that swarm gets me. There we go. This one's relatively easy most of the time. Okay, so I just got the green armor chest piece, and honestly, I do not want it, because the green set is about using my abilities, which I'm not doing. Well, there you go. Haha, I'm using it. Anyway, as you can see, my energy went down. The helmet that I have makes 50% of the casts, or the powers that I use, free. So I use less energy. And in this case, this if I kill things with my powers, I'll get potential more health drops. but I don't use powers. So typically I tend to use my normal weapon just because, you know, I don't know, I just do so. This is the flashing one. They dropped those, an opportunity for soul chips, and I got 2. Not that great. How many do I have? Top left, 5. Yay, 5. Again, I can't use this. Yeah, you can walk on the ceiling with these magnets. Oh, see, now there's a diversion down here. And this diversion, whoa, I almost got blown up. These falling platforms blow up when they hit something, or you, and you gotta be careful. The diversion gave me the leaf metal plating. This is one of the ones that gives you multiple stats while pulling others. I think this is gonna end up costing health points in order to get speed, which is not a fair trade, so I will just move on. That's the nature of this game. The items that you get are randomly generated, and so sometimes you might get a good run, other times you might get crap, and that was crap. So the music in this game is top. Unfortunately, you don't really get to hear it because I'm talking. But the creator of this game deliberately tried to recreate the feeling of Mega Man X, and why it was fun. And this is the Astral Twins. There's 2 of these bastards. You got 2 health bars on the right. If I ran into these 2 at a later point in the game, they would change requirements, and again, it would come back. One of them that is dead first would come back if I didn't kill them within a certain amount of time. So, of all the things to get hit by, it's the platform. Okay, there's the first one. And yeah, you can drop them on their heads sometimes and do extra damage that way. Didn't have to do that, but I can. Alright. Scrap metal scavenger. More nut drop chance. Okay. All these different augmentations that I'm getting, you have to play through and unlock as you go. This one is going to increase my speed by 5. See, this does make a noticeable difference. In 3 soul chips. Not so great so far. Vile Visage, the Rolster, and Shatterbeak. I'll do Rolster first. Rolster is another one that I like to defeat as early as possible. Again, because the higher difficulty rating patterns do something very annoying. And I'll tell you when we get there. I think we're at level 3. So that means we've got two robot deaths, and I've got 2 different items. Well, here we are with the divergence again. Oh. Oh, yeah. This is legwear. As you can see, I've got no 2 from the same set. That's obnoxious. But we'll go on with it. But it doesn't matter because now I can double jump. Hang on, this isn't really a platform to show off said double jump. There we go. Yay, I can double jump now. There's other leg power-ups that are useful in different situations in different ways. This one is probably the most basic because you just jump twice. I want a weapon power-up is what I really want. These other ones are kind of till you get a weapon power-up. Die. Yeah, some of these monsters have an alarming amount of health. Oh, there's nothing there. You got to kind of be careful of those leaps of faith like that because, again, it is rather difficult to always know if there's going to be a platform beneath you. Now, oh, obviously touching the lava is bad, but it's not insta-death, it's just it takes a health away from you in this case. With a scrap recycler. Oops. Well, that was an interesting sound glitch. This one takes for my weapon damage and adds my special weapon damage, this, or that's what I just got, and this, and reduces the damage I do with those and increases the damage I do with my weapons. That. So it's not a bad thing. I already got one of these speed increases, so I don't need another one at the moment. This one makes it so that I'll always at least win the slot machines when I come across them, but I haven't come across any yet. I'm going to get this one, actually, so... add some health. That was a assembly machine. Or a, not an assembly machine. Oh boy. That was a, vending machine. An example of a vending machine. Flashing... Am I facing rolster? Yeah. Those enemies are, in the lore anyway, are, lesser capable versions of the boss that I'm going to face here in a minute. There's always some random things that spawn in this boss door area, and in this case it's one of these health machines that is 2 for 1 health. 2 nuts, and that's a better deal, but they don't always last. Okay, here's Rolster. He's a gerbil and a hamster wheel, or I don't know, anyway, a spiked it, you know. His pattern is actually pretty easy. He just does something rather obnoxious when he gets... Oh, he charges. Should have seen that. When you get him to a certain hit points, he does this temper tantrum. And you can't hit him while he's revving up, but you can hit him while he's flying around. And then when you beat him, he breaks into 2. This is... I've defeated enough bosses to where that he's in the 2nd stage of difficulty, and he breaks into 2. The final stage of difficulty is that he'll break into 4. Each one of these 2 will break into 2 more. But they have exactly the same pattern as the big version. There we go. More nut scavenging. Yeah. Tongue in cheek, tongue in cheek. Speed gift. Oh, why the hell not? Woohoo! Lots of speed. Vroom, 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 vroom. Compared to Dead Cells, this game is actually very slow by comparison. And definitely easier, but I like it though. Definitely a good game. Oh dear, here comes one of these rhinoceros beetle things. Basically, oh, this is a shielded or a flashing one too. They throw up a shield, and if you hit them in that shield, oh, I only got one thing for that. If you hit the shield, it will shoot back at you and usually hit you. Whereas you can go behind it, you can wait till it drops the shield and go on from there. These pineapple things will throw a bomb at you that will blow up after a time, but these green areas are safe zones for them. Or you can just simply destroy the one that launched the whatever it is on your head that's ticking. If you manage to destroy it before it blows up, then you're fine. Oh. Oh, 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 oh. I hate these. Okay. This one will reduce my speed, but increase my health and increase my attack strength. Which, in this case, considering I've got so much speed, is perfectly fine. You can take it. Okay, is I have played this before. I've unlocked a few things, a few more things that I have in Dead Cells anyway, and I'll play that again. It's just haven't gotten into that again lately. So this item will this is one of those kind of lesser obvious items that will decrease my hit points max, but increase my speed, and that's definitely not what I want. Whoa. So the levels themselves go through difficulty increases, and so do these glory zones. This one I have to get to the end without taking any damage. No time limit, but I just can't take damage. Come on. Got it. Alright. Armor Scoop. Armor Torch Dome. Armor Scoop is the item, the name of the ability. Health might grant armor. Armor Scoop online, it says. So now, every time I pick up a piece of health, I might get a bit of armor as well. Ow. Basically, everything has an increasing difficulty level depending upon how late in the game you've run across it. That was those penguins that I keep running into. That was the second stage of them. And, oh, I just got that in time. Yeah, I'm running into some difficulties now because I've got so much speed. Oh, there we go. See what happened? So you want to shoot it when its shields are down. Who am I facing? Oh, actually, speaking of shields, I'm facing against the Shield Master boss, so you'll see what I mean. Oh, 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 oh. Thank you for double jump. Another scrap recycler. If you run into the scrap recycler in the middle of the stage like this, when you find it again, there'll be also one in, well, there might not also be this. If you look below, this door has got icons on the bottom. This one means that you'll run into one in the middle of the stage. This one means you'll run into one of the boss doors. And so since I'm going to run into this one again, it will have the same items in it. Well, if I get this, I will lose the shield that I've got and gain immunity to knockback, which would mean that I have 2 of Armor Torch's items because it's yellow. I don't like that one's effect. I'd honestly rather get the red one. I'd rather keep the red one. Which one is this again? Dashing grants a shield. I wonder what this case resonator is going to do. Increases the effects of a equipped body core. I wonder what that does for me. Since I got the shield body core. Oh, come on. Fine. It ain't gonna tell me what it does. This one will make my charge blasts a little more damaging. Definitely useful. So when you die, you die, there's only one life, and you lose all your augmentations. Oh, here's the slot machines. Yay, it gave me something. Max energy at start. Well, I don't really need that. So obviously with that item that I ran into before, it will eliminate the chance of you getting nothing. You always get something, and it may not be so great. Anyway, this is the Vile Visage. He is a... Oh, that's what it does. That is nice. That, Alright, so the Vile Visage uses shields. He'll throw a couple attacks at you. and then spawn a couple of of robots, and then hide behind this shield. So you just gotta learn the cycle. Yeah, I must be doing a large amounts of damage or something. Oh, it's because of that item I just got. Yeah. Anyway. Zephyr increases attack speed. This item for this character does something that's not quite straightforward. If I was playing Ace, the Zero-like character, it would obviously make his attacks faster. With this character's case, it changes how many bullets you can have in the air at one point. Normally you can only have 3, bang, 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 and then that's it. I can have 5 now. So that's what this does for this character. Its usefulness is debatable, but you know, I didn't have to pay for it, so whatever. Kerr, Shatterbeak, or Eternal Star. I'm going to do Eternal Star. This is the boss that's got bats, because he is a bat. Now, oh, and this level is also one of the obnoxious ones. All sorts of these light barriers that get in my way. Ow. If you were to do this level earlier, at the lower difficulty levels, this level doesn't have quite as many. It has all the jumps and you fall by going down on the bottom like that, but it doesn't have all the barriers that are going to annoy me. Oh, well, one thing I can tell you though is that this item that I just got from that last boss, this power, and I know I haven't really been using my powers, but I typically don't. This power blasts a blast around me, but in that process shorts out these barriers. Problem is, you don't really always have a lot of energy. Doggone it. There. Fine. This is being difficult. Do it again. That one would probably not require me to use this item to get past it. That one was just didn't turn off. They have different times, and some of them will stay on permanently. This one's obviously a very slow cycle. What level is this? 5. So this is the second half, basically, of the game, because there's 8 preliminary bosses. And then the end game starts, but that's for later. I don't think I'll reach that this time. Overall, I'm doing alright, but I'm not doing great either, because my health is low. And you don't gain it back. Well, that's actually not true, because you can gain augmentations that will make you gain it back between boss fights, for example. But at this juncture with nothing, what I get is what I get. Whoa! See, this right here is the 3rd stage of whatever that particular monster, so it hurts. I'm actually just trying to see if there's anything over here. No, there's not. You kind of have to look for where the secrets are, because they're not always perfectly honest, and are perfectly obvious. And the generated nature of this game, it's basically got pre-built patterns, rooms, if you'll call it, whatever, that kind of connect to one another in various ways. And in certain places, doggone it, in certain places, there's the chance for an item to spawn, or a sidetrack to a spawn and lead you to an item. Ow, 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 ow. I'm just talking. Alright, so like I said, this game is not always easy. Make it easier by doing this, but running out of powers. Oh, I've got a fair amount of energy. What did I get for doing this? 1 second fly. So I dropped double jump for flying. Now, this is, you know, different for sure than double jumping. you can gain more height with it. And that's the important difference from the other boots item that gives you hover. You cannot gain any new altitude with the hover ability. You just fly along at whatever height you're at. Whereas this one... Whoa! Well, this one allows me to move around. Anyway, well, here's permadeath. Gives you stats as you end it. Again, the only ones you really save out of this is the soul chips, and I didn't really get that many. But that's okay. This game is... The nature of this game is random. And sometimes the randomness helps you, sometimes it doesn't. This particular one, it didn't really help me all that much. Didn't hurt me either. But I only got 4 bosses beat and only 18 soul chips at the end. The final nut count doesn't matter, except for measuring purposes. So with that, I can't unlock anything new over here. Quantifies future repros. I have no idea what that means. Some of these don't really give you any indication as to what they really are, and you have to look elsewhere to find them out, or just try them. So I can afford things over here. This is nothing but a extra health at this juncture because I'll be full health in the first place. The entropy lock, which is the one that makes the slot machines give you a win all the time, is not always viable because you may not run into one and not use it, or you may not have any tokens. Now you can buy tokens over here on this machine with your spare chips. Well, this was kind of a disappointing run, but you know, that's how it works. Guess I'll increase my health and then buy a bunch of tokens. Yeah, so anyway, when I play the next game, it will pop in here. But I just wanted to see if, you know, show you guys what this game is and how it plays and stuff. I'm honestly not any real good with any of the other characters. Ace is okay, but his extremely close range can kind of turn you off and makes it a little bit more difficult. Because with Nina, the blue character, you can keep your distance and send out a blast every now and then. And this character here is basically ranged as well, of a different sort. And she has many different types of weapons or types of attacks. Basically, this one is your short ranged attack user. This one is your long range attack user. This one is a power focused user, and that's what this is a power, actually, like you get from the bosses. But she has a number of unique ones that you can get. So this one is the powers focused character. This one is just all out melee damage, short range, and it doesn't have the same charging mechanic. I don't have to hold down the attack button for this, and if you see, there's 2 pips spinning around it, and that's what I use in a company with hitting up and attack, or up and you know, this is a boomerang. He too has a couple of different attacks, but they're unlike her. They don't take energy; they just work. And you have 2 charged pips. That's the charged one. That's the non-charged one. So this one, he's got a slightly different charge mechanic than the rest. This one was just released. What is his name? Draco. He was just released not even a month ago, and so I haven't really used him that much. But he does massive amounts of damage with this hammer he's got, and I haven't unlocked any of his other weapons, which I really haven't shown you the weapons that the characters have. But, you know, as I play this more, I'll probably get a chance to show you. It's all random anyway, and yeah, I think I did skip by a couple. You get preferences, and honestly, especially for this character, there's a few that are just not that great. Or give him weaknesses in other areas that you just rather not have. But that's okay. You just play the game as it is. So this was 20XX, the lovingly recreated Mega Man experience. It's not quite like Mega Man, because of the nature that the levels in Mega Man, the levels were all flat and wrote. They didn't change between each run. and you just simply change the order that you render them in. This one does change the order, and there's a multiplayer mode which I have not really had an opportunity to play yet. So anyway, this was PhazeonPhoenix playing, as I said before, 20XX, and if you like my videos, just subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and click the bell. I think that's what you got to do now to make sure you get notifications when I'm releasing new videos. So until next time, everybody, talk to you later.